Hi guys, doing welcome to champions that need to get a buff. So I know Kabam is saying in the future they'll be buffing two champions a month, which is amazing. Wow, which is great by the way, considering that they're only buffing three or four champions a year. So two champions buffing two champions a month. That's 24 total. Hulkbuster's buffs coming soon. I know is next to get buff. I mean Magneto is one of the best champions in X-Men, I think, and it's should be one of the best characters in the game in my opinion. And I'd like to know what your opinion is as far as him as getting a buff. What kind of buff do you think he's gonna get? I kind of want to give my opinion what buffs I think he's gonna get or what buff he should get, but that's for another video. Today I want to talk about champion that could use a buff that doesn't really need much of a buff, like more like a tune-up, I guess. Is Let me just tell you who it's Abomination. So with the red guardian synergy, he doesn't really need too much of a buff, you know. I think his buff with Red Guardian Synergy, I really think they were gonna buff Abomination. They really shouldn't just buff Abomination. I think his buff should have been like in his Awaken ability instead of using Red Guardian Synergy for his buff, but that's just me. So let's look at his buff with the Red Guardian Synergy. So with the Red Guardian Synergy buff, he all attacks have a 50% chance to inflict poison, dealing 70% of modified attack over 10 seconds. So I'm not really the biggest fan of it because considering that it's 70% only, they shouldn't just left it at 100%, or like you can say inflict poison on modified attack. That's it. It didn't have to be 70%. But the good thing is the fact that it's modified means that you can run suicides with it or boost, and it will change, helped a lot when it comes to his attack. But the only bad thing about it is you could run suicides with him. That will help his attack boost when it comes to his poison. But you have to think that a big con about it, he's not immune to bleed, you know so you have to be using revives or potions every time you use suicides with Abomination, where it reminds me a lot of Omega Red, who's on top. I think Omega Red is like, even with the Red Guardian synergy, Omega Red is far superior to Abomination, even with the Red Guardian synergy Abomination has. One thing is, Omega Red, he is 90% less bleed potency. That means that he can actually that will make, and he's immune to poison, so that makes him suicide friendly. He's actually healing from bleed if you're running with willpower with Omega Red. And number two is Death Field. He doesn't require uh like Death Field. I don't know anybody in the game who's immune to his Death Field. With Abomination, any champion that's immune to poison it's useless. His Red Guardian synergy is useless, and he's pretty much back to meme tier champion. Surely with the Red Guardian synergy, he's an okay champion now. He won't be on the terrible list anymore, or meme list, whatever you want to call it, with the Red Guardian synergy. But even then, he's nowhere near Red Guardian. What do you call this? Omega Red's ability. He also has regen, so he's 90% least bleed potency, which makes him suicide friendly. Nobody in the game, as far as I know, is immune to his death field, and he can regen. None of that things Abomination can do. I really think for his buff, Abomination's buff, he should be Abomination. Let's go where you are. They should just be like, he should be 90% immune, less potency to bleed, or even higher, like 95% or 100%. least potency to bleed. This will make him friendly to runs to suicides. So you can run suicides with him because he'll be healing instead of losing blood when you're running suicides. And as you can see, his Red Guardian synergy, he will want to run suicides uh, with Abomination because his synergy with Red Guardian is a modified attack, and this bleed radiate. So if he's bleeding, there's a 90% chance to poison the enemy. I don't really see the reason why they can just make it 100%. I really think they should have made it 100%. So the only two buffs that I can ask him, uh give him to make him, even with this buff, I don't think he'll be as good as Omega Red, but that'll be pretty close to Omega Red. Not quite as good as Omega Red. I think even with this buff, Colossus buff is still better, but and just think about Omega. If Omega, if I don't know, it's pretty close. But let's just say if the Red Guardian synergy was put in, I really think they should have put in his Abomination Awakening ability, and I think it should be 100% chance that if a champion gets poisoned when if he's bleeding, and also 90% least bleed potency. This will also make him suicide friendly as well. So if you can run suicides with him, even with those buffs, I think Colossus buff will still be better. But obviously now with the Red Guardian synergy, he doesn't need much of a buff, really more of a tune-up. So 100% chance to bleed poison the champion if he bleeds, and what else? And 90% least bleed potency. As you guys know, they're buffing the way they're buffing just before recently, they're just, instead of buffing champions, they're putting this OP synergies with other new champions, and it's a brilliant way for Kabam because they don't have to spend time and money to buff champions, which cost them money to buff champions. They can just make a you know put a synergy buff from OP synergy buff on new champions to come out. That means that people would buy, like, more likely to buy new crystals and make more money for them. So it's, instead of costing, getting, like I said, buffing champion cost them money, but instead of doing that, they just use OP synergy, and new champions will make them money. I mean, it's good for them, but not good for the community, I think. I mean, I wish, as you guys know, they're buffing two champions a month now, which is really helpful. I really hope that Abomination's buff, it's just a tune-up, so I don't really call it a buff. It would be really nice. So this is a series of champions that will get buff, and I will talk about other champions in the future whose champions will be buff. Thank you guys.